Problem is also with this is a lot of the Mexicans hanging out by the Home Depot are looking for work.
Yeah.
So you're pulling up looking for an address. So you're creating a really funny situation. So I'm slowing up like this, and 15 guys are going, hey, and I'm looking at my phone. I look up and I go like, no, fellas, but you're right. I'm slowly scanning. And so it's like I'm driving slowly while there's a bunch of people going like, I'm willing to do just about anything for $20 besides suck your
What's up, guys? I am Thomas, dope as Yola, whatever you want to call me. I'm here with my co-host Marty O'Neill.
What's up, guys?
What's up? This is the Dope as Usual podcast. We're here to talk about life, drugs, problems, accomplishments, and everything in between. Today we have writer, actor, and now director Jake Johnson.
What's up, guys?
Than's for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. We got real into it before we started.
Oh yeah, of course.
So let's just hit the ground running. What's the exact date that your new movie comes out on Hulu?
It comes out the 12th on Hulu.
12th, January 12th, Self-Reliance.
That's right. Self-Reliance is coming out.
Okay, and we started talking, so we got to
both kind of
slow
geeked
down.
off this movie right now.
I'm super, because I watched it last night. So let me set the tone for you. I don't want to give away the movie.
You can give some stuff away.
Okay.
Just get going.
My wife left as her sister's having a baby, and I'm like, I'm not missing this interview. I'll come right after. So I'm getting on a flight after, and I'm gonna go.
Where to?
By Fresno, like by Merced, like
nice.
4 or 5 hours away.
Okay, great. Not too
so I'm never by myself. I have this scary big house, and she
the
left.
The whole time I've known you, I don't think you've ever been by yourself.
We're always together. We're always chilling.
I haven't been alone in like 15 years.
So same. So here we go.
It's sad.
So
it's
with
sad.
the movie though, and it was like by himself. I went,
That's ironic.
by myself. Okay. And I got a little creeped out. And then what happened? I ate some food. And for the first time in my life, I just went and just threw up real quick. I ate some food and threw up.
Is this true?
I swear to God, I went.
Not because of the movie.
No, right when I started, I went, why do I feel so sick?
Coincidence.
Remember I told you? I threw my back out on Sunday. So I went to the doctor.
Yeah.
So all of these things. Imagine this, like, on my back. I'm throwing up. Oh, my back hurts. Rosie's gone. All right, I'm gonna smoke a joint and watch this movie. And then I smoked a joint.
Good.
Started the movie.
Great zone.
I'm all sweating just thinking about So that's how I started your movie yesterday. When I went,
By the way,
creepy.
it perfect. It's a perfect setup.
I watched it by myself in the dark.
Yeah. Stoned as hell. Your back hurts. You're alone.
Only a mirror
feeling
there.
weird. Yeah.
That's basically how you described exactly how you want somebody
By the
to
way,
see it.
dream viewing.
That's exactly how I watched it
That's
last
a dream
night.
viewing.
By myself, and it was overcast.
Yeah.
And I was just chilling
Spooky
there,
as
hanging
fuck.
out, and then it got kind of creepy.
Yeah.
So this movie, you said you've been wanted to make a movie like this since you were 17.
Yeah, this kind of tone. This idea of funny, dramatic, thriller mixed around the manic pace of it. I've kind of seen, everything's getting more and more short form. Where it's just quicker, and then our movies are getting slower and slower, and you're getting a 3-hour movie. But I'm not going to see those movies, so I'm part of the quicker. Okay. So I'm like, my energy gets really manic when I watch something. I understand a premise right away. I know what's going on. Now start surprising me and start turning. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to make a movie that felt like a roller coaster ride that was going really fast. And when it turns, you might go like, I don't know about that. That's fine. Here's something new. Let's go. And we shot it in 17 days here in LA on the east side.
Wow,
we
really?
shot all in Highland Park and Pasadena.
Oh, okay. Because the house you live in is in Pasadena.
Yeah.
The second you pull it, go, I'm going to ask if that was Pasadena.
Yeah.
I can tell by the yard.
It's also that. Those were also all Altadena. So we do Altadena, then that whole downtown area where I'm walking in front of that theater is, obviously Highland Park right on Fig. So I wanted to make a movie that feels like the energy of the East Side, that feels like it's moving, it's going. And so, and then I wrote it. When you talk about your experience watching it, I decided to write it in the pandemic.
Oh,
so
really?
It was the throes of, I think, April of 2020. And I was scared. And reality was getting really blurry. I've got young kids. I didn't know what was next. I didn't know what was happening. I was watching the news, and one group is making fun of another group. Then I watched their news. They're making fun of this group. And I was losing touch with what the center was. But there was also a lot of shit that was really funny. And I was like, I don't know if I should be laughing at this, but I am because I'm alone and it's funny. And I said, this is the time I'm going to start back on this project. And so I wrote it with that feeling of the kids go to bed, my wife's asleep, it's 11 o'clock, I can't sleep. I can write from 11 to 2 a.m. And that's the feeling of this movie.
Oh yeah, I felt like I had been up. I mean, rare moments. I'm sitting here going, oh my God, I feel kind of off, but I'm not. It was like I said, it's the slightly close. It wasn't the Dutch angle stuff. It was the slightly close shots on you as you're talking. Then I'm like, I don't know what the next step is.
But something's
is he gonna get blown up? What's happening?
I like the idea of it being written for a short attention span. Like,
a
lot of people don't go into it like that because the movie starts immediately.
Yes.
Like
well, there was versions of it that had, I went to school for writing. So the whole idea of like your setup, you're supposed to have fully known the character before the inciting event happens. So the event that happens that starts your movie, mine is Andy Samberg pulling up. Well, you're supposed to have like 10 pages of like,
before that,
he's at work, his boss, then you see the ex, you see him in his life. That stuff bores me. So when I'm watching that, that's when I'm on my phone. So my kind of hope on this one was like, I just want somebody watching it who maybe ripped a huge joint to not check their Instagram for 90 minutes. And then after, do whatever you want, have whatever you want, but I just want to connect you. So the start, we had a very short montage because you got to do the credits at the beginning. So that's where the whole backstory came in. But I was good with Andy showing up minute 1, page 1. Let's start the movie. And if somebody needs to, they can catch up to something. And if somebody doesn't like a sequence or doesn't get it, it's okay because it's not a puzzle. This isn't a movie in the end. You have to sit there and go, it's not a math equation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
just
for
all add up.
You just watch the fucking movie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's free on Hulu. It's 90 minutes.
And I have a very deep video production background. I sit there and critique little things that nobody notices all day long. It looks and sounds so great.
Thanks, brother. It was
the cinematography of
Adam
it,
Silver,
the score is awesome.
Dan Romer on the score. I agree with you, by the way. And that stuff I really like too. So my big anxiety about directing this is technically I'm not great. So I've done a lot of television. I've done a lot of movies. I've been near greatness. So you're near a director enough, you can start going like this.
Probably do.
Put one of those Sonys this way. And then they go, what kind of Sony? I go, the fucking thing says Sony, asshole. Do Sony. It's the best. And so I was meeting with a lot of DPs, and when I met with Adam Silver, he did something that was like a lot of the people I was meeting with felt really new school, where they would come to the meeting, they would go, like, I like the script, and we would chat, and I would go like, what's your vision? They'd go like, the color schemes and blah, 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 and I couldn't see it. Fucking Adam Silver came together with like a 20-page lookbook that not only did he understand the movie, but visually it was right. And then he would have scenes where like when me and Anna Kendrick are in bed, right? And then the ninjas come. Well, he would just talk about that shit. But he would have...
We love this shit.
But he would have a look for it. Then in his lookbook, he would have the lines so I could visually see what he wanted to do.
Was it like sketches or like little screenshots?
He would take photos of other movies like Eternal Sunshine.
Sick.
And he would show like, well, that's here. And then he would take something from like, a 70s, some 70s movie that you'd see like, Gene Hackman on a street. And then you'd go like, the long lines.
This is all making fucking perfect sense.
But
I know what
it
you're
helps,
saying.
at least for my brain, I'm dyslexic as fuck. So a lot of times I have to almost like get my hands in it to get it. So being able to see that when he and I took our meeting, I could go like, I really like page 6. I don't like page 7. And he would go, why? And I would go, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
The colors.
And the wrong DP makes you feel like an idiot, right? The wrong member of your crew goes like, what don't you like about it? Because David Fincher likes it. And you go like, well, God bless him. He's the best. So when we did like our camera test, we're in the room testing it. And we were talking about anamorphic, which is like, a different way to shoot. It makes beautiful flares.
Yeah.
And in front of the whole crew, he put one on and he goes, you like this or not? And I did, I think.
It's usually for like Transformers.
Yes, but it's all like, but little stuff. Like if you do it anamorphic, the way the light come in, it'll move in a way.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to look for in the camera test. So I'm the boss in front of everybody. He could have killed me. It's his camera team. And then he really quickly goes like, hey, Jake, come here for a second. Then he goes, look at this specifically. Look at the lines of this. Then he put a different anamorphic lens on that showed different lines. And I was like, oh, I like the first one way better. And he goes, why? And I go, the second one feels too sci-fi. And he's like, great. So you like warmer colors. And I was like, that fucking dude walked me through the process. Grace Alley, our production designer, the look of it, all those murals at the end.
Yes.
That was in an empty warehouse on Lacey Street in downtown. Those were all painted, fake. So everything that she did, she would like walk me. And I was like, oh. So the beauty of directing this movie was hiring killer crew and then actually letting them do their thing.
Smart.
Yeah, and it truly was. Like, it's something that some people will say, but deep down they're like, but
Their ego won't let them like learn.
And deep down, if they're also like, I do kind of know better. What was great about this, my father used to own a car dealership, and he said at a certain point, he bought it, but he didn't know anything about cars. He goes, I was selling units. So I had to get great like salesmen and great like people on the floor. There's a lot about filmmaking that in doing it, I realized, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about here. I know the tone I want. I know the story I want. And for like the score with Dan Romer, he was like, what are you thinking? And there's a composer named Moondog who was like a old homeless guy in New York. If you don't know Moondog, your next joint, throw on Moondog, stuff he was doing in the late 60s, early 70s. Okay. It'll blow your mind. Okay. So I said, I want something like that. And he was like, explain it. I was like, and also drumming. And he would go, so what does that mean? And I would literally go like, so he literally went to like Home Depot, got like garbage bins, did a lot of that stuff with like sticks. Because he's like, your movie feels like a bad neighborhood at times. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it feels like a junkyard. So I'm not going to play the drums on beautiful drums. Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to play it with fucking garbage and sticks. Yeah. And in his but that kind of shit, if you trip out on this, which is what I do. Yeah. Some people will watch the movie and go, it was cool. But if you geek out and go deep, it's fucking trash. When I'm in the junkyard with Biff Whiff James, what you're banging on is like, he's banging. Oh, you guys are playing. But you're like, oh, and that layer to it for me gets very fun.
Yeah, it makes it more authentic.
Yes, and you feel it. You actually feel what the spirit of the movie's trying to be.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to compare it when you said Internals, but when you get the top shot with the pillow in between, it felt just like when they're doing the side shot in Internals Sunshine. Sure. That's exactly the first thing I thought. So when you said like,
well, that one's most likely in the lookbook. I don't remember.
That's what you got?
Yes. So that there were certain moments. Like, but that moment when all the ninjas come out, for example.
Scared the shit out of me. Yeah. I'm by myself, man. Good. I had all the shadows in my room. I was right in front of my bed, just space. But that scared the shit out of me. It was a great scene.
But like that, for example, I had written it. I knew what I wanted it to be. And I wanted it to be that feeling. When you're in your room, you smoke too much weed or you're getting paranoid. And all of a sudden, everything seems to be moving. And you go like, what a nightmare if everything was moving.
That felt like a bad mushroom.
It was a bad mushroom trip.
It felt like a bad mushroom trip.
It did. Like when I'm about to start peeing, go, why did I do this? Yeah. That's what it felt like. But later on, I'm not giving away all the stuff, but later on toward the end when Andy Samberg's in the limo, I go, these dark, deep spots in this frame are scaring the shit out of me. Because I wasn't sure if someone was going to start fucking moving.
And I don't know why, but to me, that feeling leads to good laughs. So when everything is feeling good all the time and a movie is really well lit and it's really likable and everybody's great, I don't keep laughing. Mm-hmm. I might feel good watching it, but I need, it's the same dynamic. If you're sitting around a family Thanksgiving and something dark is happening, the person who gets the laugh, that's the biggest laugh.
That's a good way to put it.
But it's like if there's like a drunk uncle and everyone's like,
I get it.
He's going too far. This is inappropriate. And everyone's looking down and then your mom's mad or someone's mad and you're looking down. The first person who goes like, those are the wrong pants though. And you go like, those are the wrong pants, and you laugh. That's the.
It's like uncontrollable. Yeah,
it's uncontrollable, and that was the tone I was trying to play with this. Get really scared, really light. Then like when the family sees him at the intervention, moments like that where you go like, you're now allowed to laugh again because now we can see the movie from their point of view.
Yeah, exactly. That was like a weird turn in the movie where you're questioning the whole movie, at least for me. Like,
come on, man. The whole time I'm thinking, damn it, is this fool insane?
Yeah.
Man, this sucks, dude. That's just like, I hope he's not insane, dude. Yeah. Good. Either way.
But you're right. It really changed the tone from kind of goofy and silly. Just really, and then kind of bring it back. Like, without saying too much about the movie,
just the whole time, I just thought someone was getting stabbed in the neck. The whole time I was just waiting for like, no, it's gonna happen. I feel it's gonna happen. It's too nice. Yeah, got too nice, and then it got scary as shit. Went, okay, we're back.
But your character was so like light and funny the whole time too. That kind of contrasted like how intense the movie was.
Totally. Well, I also 100%. Think my character was playing the game, so he knew he was right. So part of the movie is it's getting dark and it's getting really scary. And then part of the fun for me is people going, is this real or not? Mm-hmm. Right. And so then how you play that for Tommy, his point of view is very clear. Even if you are crazy, you don't think you're crazy. There's not somebody on the side of the streets. Like, we grew up near like in my town, there was like a mental hospital. We all used to go to the same coffee shop back in the 90s when like the beatniks were cool, and we would all go there and, you know, talk about Kerouac and pretend to be poets. But it'd be half us and half people from a mental hospital.
So you wouldn't know who was a poet and who was insane.
You knew the poets were a bunch of geeks from high school. But you would have somebody ranting and raving about like, the spiders are coming, can't you see the web? And it would be really wild. But for them, what they're seeing is very real and very scary. Yeah. And so Tommy's tone in this, it's no question.
Yeah.
He met Andy Samberg, he got this opportunity, and his family's fucking him.
Yeah.
The movie's very 100%. Clean. I just got to get to 30 days, you fools. Yeah. Fuck all y'all. I don't care what you say. You guys are wrong. I'm right. I'm going to get $1 million and I am going to win. And I have to do everything I can to win. I don't care what you think of me. I don't care about your judgment. Your guys' opinions are relevant. I just can't be alone.
I've been there.
Same. I'm there every fucking day.
For real. Like,
but that's what it is.
No, that's what made it so realistic.
Yeah. And I think some people will watch this movie. They won't connect to Tommy. They won't connect to the arc. And they'll go like, huh? But if you have that thing in you, then I'm like, and for me, I've had this think I was in high school. So when I say the tone, the reason there's self-reliance, the reason there's that quote at the beginning is sometimes you just got to trust yourself no matter what. And it's easy when everybody celebrates you. It's easy to be right when everyone tells you to be right. And everyone celebrates you. It's really hard when everybody goes like,
you're crazy.
We love you, real talk. Like, I'm your dear friend. You're wrong on this one. And you go like, well, I really respect you, but I think I'm right on this one. I think I'm right.
I think that's how I live my life. Truly. And sometimes it's not good.
It's not good.
But in the end, I always go, fuck all of you guys. I was right.
You got to do it your way. Or right or wrong.
Right or wrong.
So there was a version of this movie where it ended way more gray. So this movie, now without giving it away, it does end in a way when you were saying like, I hope he's not crazy. I hope he's not crazy, right? This version now ends in a way that we put it in front of different audiences. We did some reshoots. We retooled it a bunch. The original version was very vague because when you say you live your life that way, but in the end, you know, you were right. I think it's really fun because in the end, who knows? You know, to get dark and weird and stony, you also die and then they rewrite you later. And you think you know now, but what you were doing in 1850, they look back like you were right. We're all like, that motherfucker was wrong. So you just got to stand by your convictions, right or wrong. The problem is when audiences saw that version.
Pissed.
Well, they were like, huh? That wasn't a fun. So we did kind of rethink a little. And when I say we, there was no executive pushing me. It was me quite literally begging HULU for more money to go back and keep doing stuff. And MRC, our producers and our financiers, I was like, I felt like after South by Southwest, I left the audience in a way where the people who were with it left afterwards, and it was way more like discussions and questions as opposed to that was a fun 90 minutes. And I didn't want that. I want people to leave and go like, that was really fun. And if you're watching it, and you go out to a bar, talk about it, have fun. But it's meant for entertainment.
Yeah. If you always talk about what you always say, I thought about the next morning.
Yes.
Every time we watch a new movie, I go, fuck, damn it. It always feels like I know you can't change anything, but you want to change some shit. Like as I was asking earlier, and I want to get into it. Have you ever seen the movie Sunny with James Franco? He plays a prostitute. You ever seen this?
James Franco plays a prostitute.
Yeah, he plays a male prostitute, right? So, and I won't give it away, but at the end of the movie, that's how I was like, please don't fucking end like Sunny. And you didn't. That gray, vague one, but like, don't do it to me.
Yes. So it's really funny you said, and I don't mind giving it away because I still think when you're going to watch it, the audience is still going to be, you know, just enjoying.
You're going to get stuck.
You're going to get into it.
We talk about movies every episode. Just go watch this movie.
But also, I do think it's important, and I really realized. So we were at South by Southwest. It was a packed theater. It was really fun.
And you showed it.
We showed it. So
it was just for music over there.
What is the festival? South by Southwest. They do movies.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, and it's for me, it's my favorite festival because the audience is there to party and have fun. But we screened it and it was going great, and the laughs were big and the energy was room. When the movie turns and it starts getting darker, I felt some people really lean forward and love it, and I felt some people go like, "You were selling me a cheeseburger and fries, and now you took it away from me." And so there are certain moves which Well, anyhow, I'll just say him. But you know, like when I'm in the underpass and I'm homeless.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah.
And then the ninjas come back. The ninjas didn't used to come back. That sequence was way longer and it was heavier and it was different and it was depressing. And I pushed into the reality of, you know, Tommy from the outside just looks like a homeless dude.
Yeah.
But it was like another 2.5 minutes. There was different music. That whole sequence from that point on, I changed a lot of the score. I changed a lot of the tone. Andy at the end, he wasn't there. There was a whole sequence where it was shot, some of the most beautiful stuff we shot. The camera operator, this guy Luke's at a low angle of me out the window. You see the neon signs popping in the background. I'm going with that broken ass tooth. Drive into Lacey. It was dark. And at that point you go, my vision was, I wanted people to go like, what the fuck is happening? And then we were going to end really hard at that big warehouse. No resolution. Just like, yeah. And so,
see, even that I would have been still hyped. The hell.
Yes.
I would have still been hyped up.
So, but what I wanted is I wanted this set in like, what the fuck?
Now you back at his mom's?
Yes.
Shit.
And what we kind of found in doing it and then put it in front of different audiences, because I'm a big believer of like, you got something, you can sit in your basement and play with your fucking stuffed animals. But if it's for an audience, put them in front of an audience. So we kept screening it. And then I would talk to people after. And as we started adding this stuff at the ending, there was more of a connection to the story and people were allowed to say, I did feel certain stuff during it, but in the end, it was just a fun movie. I liked the movie rather than you left me in a state of like, I don't know if I enjoyed it or not. Like, good job.
No, the ending sealed
and I didn't want that. I wanted it to be sealed.
Yeah. Did you see Leave This World Behind, the new movie that just came out? I felt like the ending in that was so horrible. It really pissed me off and like left a bad taste in my mouth about the entire movie.
I don't disagree.
Like I feel like you got to nail the ending, and that's what makes people want to talk about it.
It's hard though. And the endings are really fucking tricky. I also felt like that dance sequence in there I didn't get. I was watching that movie.
I missed this whole movie.
Yeah, but there was like a sequence with like Julia Roberts. They just started like dancing to a record.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I missed something.
Dancing?
Yeah, I think they were like trying to show like she's getting ready to cheat on this fucking dude.
I thought so too, and I was like, but I was like, I don't think she would. She hated his ass.
Yeah, but if I didn't realize how important the ending was until it came, because I was like waiting for a payoff this whole time. I was on the brink of like, okay, this could be good. This might be going somewhere. It could go somewhere. I'm still hanging in here. It's hard for me to watch I'm one of those short attention spans.
Same with me. But I will tell you this going forward, which I now know, which I did not know, because this was the first movie I made that I directed. I would not make a movie and would not start and try to raise money unless I knew the ending 100%. So this ending we had to massage and find and play with. I think you need the start, you need your premise clean, and you need a great ending. So if you're pitching it and you're going like, hey guys, I want you guys to finance this. I know you fools are making money. Let's make a movie for $1 million bucks, blah, 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 blah. And then when I say the ending, the whole room has to go like, oh.
Like
and if you don't have that, and I always thought it was more the setup in that second act and the characters. And I realized in doing this, I was like, because we were finding the ending. I was like, you need to know that before you start the party.
I was reading you talk about like financing movies and like $1 million, $5 million, $8 million, and that really not being a lot of money in the context of making a movie.
Yes, well, it's different scopes. Self-financing, I can't play the 8 million game. That gets crazy. Joe Swanberg and I made a movie called Drinking Buddies, Win It All, Digging for Fire. In the pandemic, I made one called Ride the Eagle. And we make those for under $1 million. So those are movies that, you know, like you guys are doing here. And why I was asking about the front of the warehouse a lot is you're just finding a game and you're finding a location and you're going, can we build a movie around this location? Can we get these people to play as equity owners? So like, come on in and play. I can't.
That's under $1 million.
I can't pay you to play. I know you're a big actor, but what we can do is you could have X amount of points. And if you can make a movie that's you make for 800,000 and you sell for 2 million, which in the scope of movies is not a lot of money, that's a $1.2 million profit for a fun movie. And so that was the game that I had been in, where you get then total creative control. You don't have executives. You don't have development. You are making the movie you want to make with the people you want to make. When you go to a financier, they do have control on cast. So, and they do have final say.
Well, I guess they like, I want my money back, and
they own it.
Vin Diesel's going to bring me my money, or whatever you say.
If Vin Diesel was in Self-Reliance, we would have sold for a little bit more money and they would have recouped more. Now,
I get it.
There's no shit talking on Vin Diesel, but I don't know if he's not right for the movie. I would rather Boban, the 7-foot basketball player who attacks me. But if it's Vin Diesel and he's in the ending,
family, as he's beating the shit out of you.
But those talks even is why when I called it, what I like about you guys are doing New School, those talks even about the Vin Diesel, they don't have to happen anymore. Because if you can make it without any interference, you don't have to sit there and go, I like Vin Diesel too. But Boban's better for this thing. Even though he will bring you more money and we might recoup more, let's just make the movie we want to make, make enough money to be happy.
So if you have $5 million versus $1 million going into making a movie, is the difference in that budget going to actors mostly or like effects?
So this one, it went to a slightly bigger crew. So a lot of those movies will make, you only have to do one camera, you do a small crew and everyone's really busting their ass. This one, we had more kind of like toys. The crew was able to get paid a little bit more rather than everybody's on back end.
What's that mean?
So if you basically, you could pay someone like $100 a day essentially, and then they get paid when we all get paid, or they can get their rate.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
And you know, if you're doing something like sound, you're like, I wouldn't hate my rate.
Yeah.
As well as you can also pay for like better quality.
Yeah.
So you can get like the camera work in Self-Reliance when you're talking about those push-ins. Well, that's a dude holding a camera. This guy Luke, his work is phenomenal. You can't.
He's not on a track.
What's that? A lot of that shit's on his shoulder. A lot of stuff he actually did when I'm going
He
down.
was on a fucking track? Holy shit.
Yes, he's holding the camera like this.
Walking?
Yes. A lot of, when we're running through Lacey at the end, he was running backwards.
You were running full fucking force.
Well, that was our game. There was a time we both, because he said
you were sprinting.
Because we said, I don't want to speed this up. I want that manic feeling. So we just had to do a lot of takes. When I'm on Fig being chased by the Figueroa Street by that theater, he was on a Segway going backwards.
That's what I was going to say. They usually do that for the smooth shot, but you wanted it kind of jerky.
Yes, and also he wanted it that way. We also didn't close off the street. So a lot of the people there are just random people. Because what we wanted is, back in the day when they would make movies in New York, they would just shoot.
Yeah.
So when you've got a cabbie coming up and almost hitting Dustin Hoffman.
That's what I was going to fucking say right now.
But that's
Jesus Christ.
But that shit matters.
What's that long shot called? Is that from Tootsie?
No, that's from
no, it's not
Midnight Cowboy.
Yeah. Tootsie's when get away from me when he's with the wig on. Sorry.
No, please.
Damn. Okay.
That kind of stuff for me is where you get a feeling for a movie where you go like, ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
Or at least I do. That's where I get to go like, I wanted Figueroa to feel like you're in a city street and you're walking and there's people around. And I wanted that energy around.
Definitely felt like it.
But one of the things about expenses is you're paying for better quality stuff. The sets we built, that Grace Alley built, that house we actually shot in, the interior of my house, was an empty house. She set decked that whole thing. So all that stuff just cost money and time. All the painting for the murals, the book that they made. But you have to pay an artist to do that. If you're making it for $1 million, I don't have a book. There ain't gonna be murals on the wall. There's gonna be an empty warehouse.
Little extras.
Yes, but those little things that you go, they make a difference, man.
Yeah, if you didn't have them, you'd have missed them.
You miss them. Yes,
that makes sense.
And that's kind of the gag.
So before we get out of here and before I get off this topic, I wanted to throw it out there. The way this movie made me feel, the way I was second guessing myself as the audience member, was the same way Christian Bale, when he, in American Psycho, when he looks at his gun after the cop car blows up, he's like, what the fuck? Am I insane? And keeps running. And then you make the audience question, was that fucking real? Hey, what's up, guys? Taking a moment to talk about one of our sponsors, and this is MyBookie. The divisional playoffs are here. NFL is booming. This is the only time of the year where it's super fun for the NFL because now we know exactly what's going to happen, who's going to make it. Let's bet. We just saw the Browns and Texans. We just saw the Dolphins and Chiefs, Bills, Steelers, Packers, Cowboys. All of these are deciding games, guys. It's getting down to it. It's the playoffs. Besides football, if you want to go see a bunch of people fight each other, UFC 297 is here. Go ahead and place your bets. You got Sean Strickland, Neil Magny fight, Raquel Pennington fight. All of these are in one night. So remember, use code DOPE as usual and take advantage of this deal. Right now, bet $50 or more and MyBookie will match you 10% all the way up to $200. And remember, it's not just points. It's how many points you're going to win by. How many yards does this guy get? How many points under or over? Is it a field goal? Is it a touchdown? What's the final score? All of my gambling friends know exactly what I just said, the covers and the spreads. I'm still a little confused. I just like to bet, win or lose. Go to MyBookie, download the app, use code DOPE as usual. Bet $50 or more and they're going to match you 10% all the way up to $200. Guys, thank you so much. Get betting. Have fun. This is MyBookie. Have a dope ass day. Anyway, Great movie.
Thanks,
Super
guys.
stoked.
Thanks,
Watched
fellas.
it last night by
Thanks,
myself.
fellas. Yeah.
It was great.
Appreciate it.
Super stoked. January 12th.
January 12th.
Awesome. All right. And I know you don't smoke.
Yeah, but enjoy,
All right, so
please. I
said
prefer
before,
if you
I prefer
guys.
you got
I
high.
prefer
You're
if
the
you
first
do.
guest to say that.
That's the first I would rather you do.
I'm a visitor in your home. Enjoy yourself.
I appreciate it. So something else I want to get on to. I watched a couple episodes. We're here to help.
Oh, right on. Thanks.
All right, we're here to help.
Yeah.
It's your podcast. You
Yes.
started with, his name's
Gareth.
Gareth.
Yeah.
I almost called him Garth like a dummy.
Yeah.
Gareth.
Gareth.
All right, Gareth. How did you meet him?
So I've known Gareth for 20. We both came up at the same time. So we both used to do a lot of improv comedy. We were both on the stages all the time, and we just kind of knew of each other around. And then he's become a guy. You know, he's a big writer. So he wrote for like Arrested Development and other shows.
Funny as fuck.
So he's one of those guys. Whenever I have a project, I'll send him the script. And then he had a podcast called The Dollop, or still does, that he's been doing for a decade.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's been trying to get me to do a podcast with him for a while. Talking about how much I'm going to like this new world. And I just wasn't interested. And then he pitched this idea. And the idea of it basically is it's a call-in show where the comedic engine is the caller, not us. So it's on them. It's their calls. We don't know what the call is beforehand. Our producer does it. And as we're not therapists, we're not doctors, but like if I came in here to you guys and I told you I had a problem, well, you guys are going to try your best.
Yeah.
The more you smoke, the ideas might change. Yeah. And so our pitch is, it's like if you went to a bar and talked to your friends and you go, here's the situation. We're going to pitch on it. I'm not positive we're going to help, but we're going to pitch our asses
Might
off.
help.
Yeah, we might, or we might not, but we might. And it's honestly been so much fun. Where you're like, oh, what a fucking blast this gag
is. It a certain type of questions that you're normally getting? Or
yeah, we
over?
like as kind of small and dumb as possible. When it started, some people would call them with like family issues. And what we found ourselves, a lot of stuff we didn't release, is that we would then get like sincere and be like, I'm sorry that happened with your dad, you know?
Damn.
Or like, you know.
It can be a downer and bring the whole show down
yes,
too, right?
and it also goes, who the fuck are we?
Yeah.
I don't have opinions on that. That's heavy.
Yeah.
But if you have something, you know, stupid or small, like a woman just called in, she's a nurse, and one of her coworkers has really bad breath. And it's terrible. And she's like, it's a significant thing. What do we do? So, and she goes, I don't want to just walk up and say your breath stinks.
Yeah.
So the pitching is then, all right, maybe you could do blank, maybe you could do this. And so what we decided to do is create a lie, and that is say the patients have complained that some of the staff has bad breath.
Genius.
And blame it on the fact like the fucking patients. Nuts. It might be them, but let's just now as protocol. Mouthwash, mints. Yeah. so we're not pitching in terms of like, this is the right advice. We had one woman in Australia, and this one hasn't come out yet, but I'm really excited about it. She's a fighter. She's a boxer. And she's like, I need a walkout song, and I need like a thing. So we created a song. We created a character for her. We build this whole thing, and then they come back on and give us updates.
Oh, shit.
It's fun, man.
You made her a song?
So there's this guy, I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Please correct it if you guys do any post, but it's like Soy Viet or something. He's this Vietnamese dude that I found on Cameo, and he does the craziest songs I've ever heard in my life.
The singer Vietnamese guy.
You know what I'm talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy.
He's everywhere.
Love that guy.
I didn't know it was Cameo.
Yeah, or whatever.
I just thought it was him doing this.
Yes. So I think I found him on Instagram too. Sent him, all my friends, whatever. Then when Gareth and I were going to start doing this to surprise Gareth, I paid the guy to do a theme song for us that we were going to do for the show. It's unfortunately insane. Right, where it's like 1, 2, 3, it's crazy. Like
borderline. Are we making fun of this?
Yeah, but also like nobody wants to hear this. But the audience is going to tune out fast. So we went in another direction, but we had it. So we're talking to this woman, and she's going to walk out in a boxing match to that song by him in a robe that says like little cutie or a little something like that. Then we gave her moves like before the fight. She's going to go like, try to be like fake, like annoying
animation.
Cute. Yeah, like cute. Throw the robe up and then fucking kick ass.
She's a real fighter?
She's a boxer. So this is a real fight happening in Australia in January. We just sent her a robe today.
Oh, you have so much influence right now.
Yeah, it was such a fucking... I'm like, and for me, my bit is, I can't wait to see somebody walk out with that song blasting and then box. So that's what's been, at least in making it, been the fun gag of like, what I didn't expect is I genuinely care about the callers. I thought Gareth and I are going to do a lot of bits, but the people call in and they're funny. And they do instantly feel like friends because they're calling in.
Yeah.
So you start getting this thing where you're like, all right, let's find this. Let's fix this. Then when they follow up, it just gets really fun.
Yeah, I got fully invested in the first episode. She called back, the Wilhelmina lady?
Wilhelmina called back, as well as the other woman who, Abby, the other woman from the game, called it the Leprechaun.
Two-Tongue. Yeah. That was invested last night, man. Watching this shit.
It's fun.
It's fun just hearing like, is this real?
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
she started doing the action. Go, oh, this is
is
very
real.
real. She's really going for it over here. I like how you called her out instantly, though. Like, I'm from Illinois. That's not in Indiana.
Yeah. Well, we're not doing the overly nice because it's not just a nice podcast. So the gag for us is not whatever you say is great. We will call you out on your shit. They can call us out on it, but honestly, once it starts, we're trying to make each other laugh and we're trying to have fun. And if the person's fun too, then it's a fucking blast for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's live, right?
It's live, kind of. We edit them down because we have a bunch banked. But it's, we film them all and then we will make trims at the end because we might go 45, 50 minutes sometimes, but you got a 20-minute call.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And coming out of the world of TV, I like production. I like things. I like tight. So I get bored so fast. I'm like, once I get bored in my head, I can look at Kevin, our producer, and be like, that whole
that's our whole plan for my other channel. Like, no breaths.
Yes.
No
It's
downtime.
psychotic.
Yes.
Literally.
Robot chicken. Next, please.
Mumbles, any repetitive
Let's
words,
go.
any breaths.
Dude,
out.
That's what we were for a while, really editing, and then we might have started over edited. But I'm like, let's just fucking go. If someone's gonna give us their time, let's respect it.
Yeah.
Let's give them that thing. Let's do a little bit of work. Let's put that grease in it, so you go like, oh, this is a well thought out operation.
And how often are you dropping those?
We do Mondays and Thursdays.
2 times a week?
2 times a week.
Good shit.
Yeah.
And it's on Spotify and YouTube, correct?
We're just really starting YouTube. We were not doing video. But we just started.
You weren't.
Yeah, we weren't. And I didn't want to at all. I loved the idea of recording out of my closet.
Is that what you were doing?
Yeah. And I loved it. I loved being able to go like, wow, this is a fucking
Well, you're
blast.
a voice actor.
I'm a voice actor. Yeah. And I love that. And I love that you can't, if I'm doing Peter Parker, I love that you can't see me, that you see them.
Yeah.
I think that's such a great part of it.
What an odd feeling, though, knowing it's your voice coming out of something that little kids are just like, oh my God.
Dude. But what's really nice and what gets really trippy, and it's probably just because I've smoked so much weed that I'm already stoned as fuck from just the air, is that it's not me anymore. I recorded in the booth, but it's not me when you watch it. That's Peter B. Parker. If it's my body, it's too close to me that I have to say like, when people say like, how much are you like Nick Miller from New Girl? And I'm like, well, it's hard because we improvised. The fucking guy looks like me. I'm talking a lot. There's a lot of connections.
Yeah.
What's great about voiceover is you go like, no, artists created all this.
Yeah. They wrote it out.
They wrote it out. They animated it. They created every movement. I just put 15% into it.
Is it the best job in Hollywood, basically, being a voiceover actor?
I really love it. Yeah.
Seems like it.
Well, it depends on the project. But if you have something like this where you have Phil Lord and Chris Miller and the directors we have and the animators and the amount of money Sony puts into having the best animators, then it is. I've done other animation where the animation's a little bit cheap and the directors and the thought process is like, kids will love it. And then you go like, fuck man, I don't want to spend like, how many hours you have on this fucking rock to be making this trash? You're like, fucking pass, man. This shit sucks. I don't want to do this, man. I've already got paid a little bit. Why am I doing this? This shit sucks. And then when you do something like Spiderman and they care so much and you go like, fuck man, I'm really excited to be here. Like, yeah, so that's what, for me, that's why it's one of the best jobs in the world, because you go, what you guys are making is spectacular. And I'm watching it just like it. When Shamik and I watched the first one, he plays Miles. We recorded together a bunch. Neither of us had seen any of the animation. Me and him sit down in the theater, and he's like, how you feeling? I was like, I don't know, man, let's just watch. Midway through, we were both like, and then we're like, we get to take credit. We take credit. So this is our movie, everybody. Thank you guys. Wow. Yeah.
So you weren't seeing anything while you were recording it?
How crazy. They just tell you the context, the situation, and you kind of have to like
put
it goes
that
into
this.
it.
So it'll be, let's say we were doing a scene and let's say you were reading Peter, right? And I was the directors. So you get the script for just the scenes. So the scenes are a 3-page scene. It's really well written. You know exactly what you have to do. Like it's very clear. There's a joke here. It's a little emotion here, whatever. You read with me. So you're not just doing line by line. We're performing the scene.
Makes sense.
Over and over. So as an actor, which is really fun, you do it once, you get it good. By the 9th time, you're stepping into another thing with that other actor or that other director. And a lot of times I'm reading with Phil, and Phil Lord is a brilliant dude, like next level. And so you're reading with him and he's getting into it and you're getting into it. And so you just get to step outside of yourself a little bit. Yeah. Then you leave the booth. And because you don't take the scripts home and you don't read the whole thing, there's really nothing to think about.
Just gone.
It's over.
Wow.
And you might not see it for 2 years.
Wow.
That's what I mean. Like, so when you say like, it's trippy for those kids, it's like.
Trip for me too.
It's a trip for me too. Yeah. Like, you know, I'm glad they all get to experience it, but I'm experiencing it too.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of cool.
It's different.
Awesome.
It's different.
Well, how did you find out? What was that moment like?
Find out about that job? Like how I got it?
Yeah.
Not years. I mean, actually now years ago, before the first one, Phil wrote me an email saying, I'm working on something, an animated thing, and I really like you for one of the roles. Are you interested in audition? I tried to get Sony just to offer it. But you're not, and he said this kindly. I'm not saying this with any like, you know, fake hurt feelings. He's like, you're not at that level where they'll just offer it to you.
Yeah.
But I really want it to be you, but you might have to do some like work for it.
Yeah.
And I said like, Phil, I honestly view Phil and Chris as kind of like genius guys. And I don't use that term a lot, but they're just on another level. And I said like, Phil, whatever you guys are doing, I'm on board. And I didn't know it was Spider-Verse or Spider-Man or any of that. It was called like Cabin Fever at the time.
Why do they always?
Like, were they disguising it?
They were disguising it. I think it's for
Very
if anybody
secretive.
like steals shit online. And then we started meeting and talking, and then I had to meet with a bunch of like this guy Ari, this guy who like runs Spider-Man there, and I had to pitch why I should do it, and it became I had to audition. It became like a whole thing. But then I knew Phil always wanted me, so you know if you're doing that dance coldly. You get it. It's an amazing victory. Mine was, I know Phil wants me. I don't want to let him down because I want to do this. If I drop it now, what a failure. You know, you
kind of tossed it right up to the rim for me.
This is an easy win. And I'm like, let me fuck it up. Before we start, can I tell one story about politics? No, shut up. Don't give your opinion on that subject. Yeah. You did. Oh. So yeah, I just made sure I didn't fuck it up.
Yeah, we try to
dance.
I got to be honest.
Yeah.
What guests explain what Republicans and Democrats were to me? That's when I found out. I couldn't care less.
What's the group that likes me the most?
Yeah, who likes me and lets me live? For real. Like my mom is Jewish. The whole family's Jewish, and then I'm just brown. Like, a lot of people are gonna like this. If you think about it.
Is there a political party that likes me? If so, I'm donating all the money.
I'm down. I'll fucking press like.
It's really
Jesus
funny.
Christ. But so you got Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It was because we had someone on here recently that Grand Theft Auto, Sean Fontini plays Franklin.
I saw the thing. You guys are doing a giveaway too.
Oh, there you go. So 2.5 years he didn't know it was Grand Theft Auto. So it was very secretive.
Oh, interesting.
So when you're saying it was called Cabin Fever.
Yeah. Well, mine happened faster.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but it.
I mean, obviously, like Peter, like.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Peter Parker at a cabin.
Hey, dumbass, you're swinging by webs. And I'm going, it's called Cabin Fever. No, my
Uncle
man.
Benjamin, his name was.
You're telling me you didn't know? Took me years, man. I'm admitting something mentally. Yeah, I didn't know until after the second one.
That was a huge coincidence.
Yeah, I guess it's a Spider-Man thing. No, I found out pretty quickly when it was, I had to literally go talk to people at Sony and try to like get the job. And they really protect the IPs they like. And so they were very protective of the Spider-Man stuff.
Understandably, though.
Yeah, understandably.
So, we got onto your podcast.
Yeah.
And you're dropping 2 times a week, which is epic.
Short episodes, though, about 30 minutes.
Still.
Yeah, totally.
Still, it's content. People to get away from their life for a second.
Which is it.
Yes. So why did you guys make this change from, I just like filming in my closet, recording in your closet. Why did you guys make the change to video?
Interesting. And I'll tell you why I kind of did it was we were kind of started, and then I did Andrew Santino's podcast.
Bad Friends or no?
No, his Whiskey Ginger. And I started doing other like this. I started going out when I was doing press. All of a sudden, more and more press was becoming podcasts. And you know, it's a turn. I remember when I first started, not to, I'm going to age myself, but when I first started doing press, you'd go to New York and you'd just do long form interviews with journalists, and then they would write the thing up. They were mostly not even filmed. And then slowly you would start doing stuff where I'd be like when BuzzFeed first started, and I was like, I don't think this shit's going to stick. People want this for your press. But then rather than talking about the show, you're doing like 5 favorite condiments to put on a hot dog. And I'd go like, who gives a fuck? Nobody in the world's going to care about this. And then it would go, that 2-hour interview you did about the project? It got 9 views. You know that hot dog shit? 9 million. You'd go like,
shit.
So rather than actually talk about the project, I should just eat like a weird hot dog and go like, ugh, and then make that.
There's the thumbnail.
Just eat it without chewing.
But that's it. Yeah. And then I had an old man attitude about it where I was like, going back to the game of the movie where in the end, you're right. A lot of times I'm wrong. And I had conviction. I was like, I'm not playing that. I'm not doing it. I'm not interested. It's not going to work. And then it kept working and it kept changing. And I was like, what the fuck? And how is this happening? And then with ours, I thought nobody cares about the visual of it because I don't care. I listen with something in my ear while I'm doing something else. So that's how everybody must be. And I started realizing like, fuck, I'm not everybody.
Both.
Yeah, they want both.
Yeah. People sit and watch on TV and show.
Anything. Yeah. And then I was talking to even friends about it and they were like, I watch that shit on YouTube. And I'm like, you're 48.
Quick.
And they're like, I like it, man. And then I started watching a little bit and I was like, and then I started realizing I like when it looks good. I don't like how the zooms look anymore. Because we would air ours or put clips on Instagram. Yeah. The little fucking weird zoom where you're like, I'm like, this looks like shit, man. And then going back to the movie where you have like a good DP, you've got a good setup. Then when I walked in here, I was like, I like your setup. I like your walls. We don't have an aesthetic yet for our show.
Yeah, we're about to hit season 4, so I think it changes for how you feel.
Oh, interesting. Are you going to change kind of per season? Like for season 4, are you going to have a different look?
We're moving.
So, ooh, what's your look going to be? Have you revealed it?
We haven't even thought it fully.
Let's fucking talk it out, guys. I'm a bitch guy. Hey, we're here to help. Let's talk about the fucking aesthetic.
You're going to like this. The only real idea we have is we want to cut out pieces because this is a fake wall we built.
Oh, great.
We're going to cut out some of them and bring them to hang them on the wall to make it look a little bit cleaner, but kind of bring the same vibes. That a lot. We need a lot more cooler lighting and depth of field. We need more space overall.
Yeah.
But then we're going to leave out some pieces for some of the local fans
to come pick
up. Yeah, fun. Great.
From the set out in the warehouse.
Oh, I like that a lot.
Like, yo, here's the address. You finally get to have the address. We left.
Yeah, we just.
So you guys aren't going to be here anymore?
Oh, we're gonna get a different space.
Oh, where are you going?
We're not sure yet. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Where are you guys from? Are you guys from LA?
I'm from up north. He's from Buffalo.
Okay, because this part of it's a very interesting place that you guys picked. I got the address today. I was driving over, and I was like,
"Wonder where
this is where these fools picked." Either they grew up in this neighborhood, and they're like, "I don't know, my mom lives 2 blocks away." No, I'm like, it's a very funny choice.
Everybody that comes through goes, "This is where you wanted to go, huh?"
I know. We've had like Tony Hawk just wandering around on the front.
He was walking around the building.
I had that pulling in. I had been here. I was driving around a little bit. I'm like, I don't know where the fuck to go. And then you guys had sent an image of where to park. And I was like, my dumb ass is looking at the image. I'm lost. That's why I called. I was finally like, this isn't going to work out.
We had him like, yo, we can't have Tony Hawk just standing out. All these Mexican dudes standing out. Well, the tallest man on the block.
Well, the problem is also with this is a lot of the Mexicans hanging out by the Home Depot are looking for work. Yeah. So you're pulling up looking for an address. So you're creating a really funny situation. So I'm slowing up like this. And 15 guys are going, hey, and I'm looking at my phone. I look up and I go like, No, fellas, but you're right. I'm slowly fucking scanning. And so it's like I'm driving slowly while there's a bunch of people going like, I'm willing to do just about anything for $20 besides suck your dick, right? So like I'm in and I'm going like this.
You couldn't look more like a
come
dude.
on,
This is what I'm looking for. And they're like, what? And then they all get insecure. They're like, he didn't like me. It's like, no, I'm going to a podcast. Guys, I promise you guys all looked great.
Dude, you know how many times my Uber Eats, I've come outside, I'm like, you're not here. And I see these fools eating my food because they go like, and they just drop the food off because they think, oh, it's me. I've gone out and go, well played. Well played.
I've never heard that.
That's amazing.
Twice they took my damn Natalie's. My damn Natalie's plate.
Incredible.
Twice I went, I'm like, no, you're not here, but I just gave it to you.
Off, yeah.
And I looked and I'm like, oh, you know what? I can't hate on them.
I agree. Well played.
You want to tell them the funniest shit ever though? We were at odds with them until we got this whole place.
Yeah.
This place is completely soundproof. There's a false wall
Everything
behind there.
is.
These walls are
we
all
had to do it.
Wow.
Because these fools like to party.
I've seen those dudes party. I've seen them gambling and drinking.
They like to play a dice game in a circle and go nuts, bump music. None of them have ever gotten in a truck to work. The guys on the right work. The guys on the left of us don't. I know them. I know their faces.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later, but we were at odds with these guys because I'm brown but don't speak Spanish. I'm the only one that doesn't speak Spanish in my family. So when they pull up, they go, he's Armenian. So they're talking shit about me in Spanish, but like, fool, I can understand you, stupid bitch.
Oh, so you can hear it.
I can understand. I just can't speak. I know when you call me stupid bitch ass white boy, I know those words.
By the way, that is an incredible thing to have, to look Mexican, hear, understand Spanish, but not be able to say it.
I know
this feels
crazy.
Like a crazy movie premise.
Right?
It gets worse.
Okay, keep going.
White supremacist with my stepdad my whole life. My mom married a white supremacist in and out of prison. Wait. My mom is Jewish, married a white supremacist.
So your mom makes great decisions.
Thank you.
That's the theme of the show.
Thanks, Mom. I know you're in the chat. She's in every chat.
Why would a Jewish lady marry a white supremacist?
To make my grandma mad, she said.
Respect. You're trying to fuck over mom. No better thing to marry somebody who hates your blood.
Well, he was a great guy outside of jail. Inside is when it's like, whoa, I'm an Aryan nation.
I understand. So that was the gang he chose to survive.
I mean, he had to. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's
but
the story.
That's
the story. I'm like walking. Hey, what's up? I don't understand what you're saying in Spanish. Here's my stepdad. He spoke fluent Spanish, which was the funniest part.
No.
Yeah, it gets worse. It gets worse. But what I'm saying, we were at odds with these.
Wait, don't
dudes.
stop on this. This is too much good information.
Okay.
Your dad's a white supremacist.
My stepdad was. Your stepdad who speaks fluent Spanish because he was always in and out of prison.
Yeah, and he's in the Mexican gang zone, meth capital of America.
Okay.
Is Merced, yeah. So, like, I'm brown. My mom looks white, but Mexican at the same time.
Okay.
Doesn't speak Spanish.
And your biological dad then was Mexican.
Speaks Spanish. Yeah. My whole family does. My whole other side of the family. Yes. Everybody. Because they taught them, but they make fun of me. Like, you don't speak Spanish? Like, you should have taught me, bitch. Oh, I'm here every weekend.
It's really
you should have taught me.
Yeah.
So, but it's a long story, but she eventually got divorced from him. Okay. But he taught me everything except Spanish.
Yeah.
Right? He taught me a couple words, which was the funniest shit.
Are you still tight with him?
No, he's gone. He's gone. Yeah. But it's a long story. It's funny. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
And the movie premise, we're talking to.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about it after. But
congrats.
It's a wild story. It's a funny story because he taught me pretty much everything. My dad was on drugs.
Ned Flanders.
Yeah, Ned Flanders. The second takes it off.
Oh, that's what you mean, the muscles.
Yeah.
Groundskeeper Willie, bro.
By the way, what a fucking term that the term Ned Flanders now means. Quietly an animal.
No, all our fans know.
Yeah, that's so funny. Like,
they tag me all the time.
By the way, the new era of all these guys taking steroids now, we're creating a generation of Ned Flanders.
Right? It's
because
true.
Mustache.
Yeah, you've got all these guys now who are like, seems like a nice normal guy, and all of a sudden they're like sticking needles in their butts, and they're like, you're like,
and they're like a 10th black belt jiu-jitsu
exactly
master.
Right.
Yeah, don't go to bars.
Well, I say that because I've been doing jiu-jitsu a little bit. And unfortunately, I hurt my back literally rolling.
Hard not to, right?
Yeah, it's hard not to. But the injury, it's why I keep doing that. It's such an embarrassing one. It wasn't like fighting.
Your disc?
It was something is happening. It was literally stretching. But what happens is you'll see certain people and they're like, dressed normally and they take their hoodie off and you're like, Ned Flanders.
Yeah. I like it. I like that you're coining the term right now.
That's a fucking Ned Flanders.
That's exactly what it is.
If you're in a bar and somebody like in their group is talking shit, You just got to go like, there might be a Ned Flanders in the group, guys. Let's back off.
Yeah.
They seem like geeky guys.
And they always wear crew necks.
Mustache might be a Ned Flanders.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're always super nice, named Trevor or Travis.
And they're animals.
They're monsters with cauliflower. Once they take the beanie off.
Monsters.
I see him at my kid's school. I'm like,
yeah. You're a monster.
Sure. You're right. It's in the leg tattoos. If they got kind of
leg tattoos, if there's any big Mexican women leg tattoos, like, ooh, you're in prison. Yeah. You'll stab me. So I know what those tattoos mean.
So what happened? How does it? So you're battling with these guys.
I'm battling.
They're talking shit.
We had to put up the gates and the
I had to install all those little chain things because they kept coming and parking and just drinking in their truck, and I'm like, hey man,
but I'm
like in my parking. Because it's been vacant for a year. They're like, this is where we chill, bro. I'm like, hey, I know this is my building now.
But it's changed.
I was like, it's done. And I'm like, yo, Martelli's full in Spanish because I'm like, damn, I don't speak Spanish.
I forgot about
and now they hate me because they're like, bitch ass.
Yeah. Send it a translator over here.
Yeah, so what happened is I almost had to get in a fight with one of these guys because he was talking shit to me as I was like, sir, I'm being polite.
Yeah, please.
And I even said it like that. I have cameras. We have it on tape. I'm being polite, man. And he called me a bitch ass white boy. And I was like, it's okay.
To you or to them?
To me.
Oh, he just went like that? Okay.
Yeah, I was like,
that's unfortunate.
I don't want to beat the shit out of you. You're so small.
Yeah.
But you're ballsy. Yeah. So I said, I need to put up all these chains and shit. I'm going to hire these guys to put up all my chains to keep themselves out of my parking lot.
That's a hell of a move. That's a hell of a move.
I didn't. I ended up hiring an 80-year-old white man named Kevin. Or his name was, and he built a set for us because I couldn't talk to these guys. You guys are being dicks. I'm like, I'm going to hire some old white man.
So they were sitting there watching
an old white man.
We could have done it in a day.
Thank you.
Tell them about when you threw the thing out, though.
Man, I'm hella polite. I'm a nice dude. One of these fools, he's really drunk all the time. I'm nice. But there's a point. I open my trash can. I'm like, why is there a bunch of my trash thing open? Like a big
dumpster.
Yeah, and I was like, whose backpack is this? And I was like, whose boots? And I look in there attached to a whole dude. I just saw little boots like the Wicked Witch of the West hanging out.
Sleeping in the dumpster?
Yeah, his little feet were hanging out. I'm like, Wicked Witch of the West, right? And I'm like, oh shit, there's somebody in them.
No.
And I'm like, hey man, you got to get up. Hey guy, you get up. And he did this to me. Went. He did this. And I just went fucking.
No room service.
Fucking exploded. And I used to do powerlifting, man. That's what I used to do, my shit. I can pick you up, sir. Yeah. So it's unfunny. I'll find it on the table. I'll show you. But I don't know why. I'm like, you know what? It's my property. And I went like this and I kind of on his jeans and I fucking one arm threw his ass out. And then he tried to fight me.
Oh my. Oh, so it got bad.
Yeah. No, these guys are jerks to me, man, because I'm super polite, super nice.
Oh, so this got crazy.
It got dumb. It got crazy.
That isn't even, that wasn't what I was talking about even. When you threw away the furniture.
I had these real nice couches, and I was like, no, we got new orange couches, match the set. I'm going to give them to a college kid. Yeah. And I was like, here, Omar, put it on Craigslist. I put them outside. The next morning, I'm like, oh, some kid got them. I look up.
They just took it across
the fuck, dude. Now they just got two nice ass blue couches, and these folks chill for months on them. Yeah, and all I did was
you made it more comfortable for your enemy.
So that's our quarrel. You know where we're at.
That's amazing,
and that's what's been going on. But we're leaving soon, man.
I will say I am shocked by. You are right that there's two groups. There's the group that's really looking for work, and then there is a group that's partying shockingly hard. Because right there. I'm in Pasadena, so I'm always on this side street when I come, and there's the front group, and that group's always like, and it's very nice back and forth. It's like, no, thank you. Then you turn a corner and go inland 1 block.
You're shooting dice and shit.
And I'm like, what are you 9 guys doing? Exactly. Also, it looks fun. Who's hiring? Who's driving up and going, it's a bunch of guys aggressively looking for work. Pass. Right? Can you guys partying your nuts off? Drinking and gambling?
Pull your pants up and get in here.
Hey, put that bottle down. Can you guys build a fence? They're never getting hired. They're not getting hired for like a little gig. It's not happening. But that group must not even care.
They don't
which then asks the question.
What are you selling?
But, you think it's drugs?
Oh, yeah. I know what. We won't go too crazy, but I'm from a drug town. I know what that quick hand movement, that Dodge Neon fucking was. Only people buying drugs drive the whole beat up Dodge Green.
That's a smart idea to post up. Like,
yeah. Oh, so
yeah,
that I never.
slanging,
so they're literally hiding behind the guys looking for work.
Yes, so they can slang shit. And when the cars pull up and they go up to talk to them, yeah, you know they go up to talk. Hey, you want work? Truly. And they don't. They go, hey, here's your shit. All right, no work. All right, bye. But they just sold you a sack real quick.
It's like one of the pilot fish that swims by the shark.
Honestly, blew my mind.
Blew your mind?
Because I have for years, honest to God. I've been coming here for so long. It's always weird that there's 60 guys looking for work and 3 guys asking for work.
Yes.
And, you know, then you think maybe there's like a hierarchy, maybe there are rules.
Nope.
Like, and then you go like, maybe it's like they've created some weird system.
There has to be.
There has to be. But
there's a gang. There's definitely a gang.
Yes, there. You could tell there's like a hierarchy.
Yeah,
but I've never understood that in the center of it, the heart of darkness of it, is straight up gambling and drinking out in the open. Yeah. Now, if you were doing a project and you went like, I'm trying to paint, I got this white picket fence. I want it white, but I'm not great. I think I'm going to hire those guys. You, sir, smell like a bourbon factory. You're not getting hired.
Come to my house with my kids and work in my
Please.
home.
I can't even talk to you.
First of all, we don't speak the same language. Second of all, you're smashed. Yeah. So I've always been like, that's a bold choice. I've looked for work in my life. I've gone through periods where I'm drinking way too much and I'm partying. I have showed up to interviews smelling like alcohol. I never got the job.
No, you didn't?
No, never.
Oh, what was it too? Do you remember one?
Well, I remember one where I got very close and then I didn't get it. It was for weed. And that was...
You smelled like weed?
No, because they tested me. And that was at Madison Square Garden in New York. I wanted to sell concessions.
They test you for weed.
And I got the gig. And you start off, you have to sell like the bad stuff. Like you start off selling like the toys. You know, they walk up and down every once in a while. They'll be like... this like weird stuffed animal that nobody wants. You do that for a couple months. Then you get like the gross snacks. And then you're working your way up to beer. But I thought, I was doing live comedy all the time. And I thought, perfect gig. Because I was doing construction. And I'm not good enough at that to do it professionally. And it fucking kills your body. So I thought, go to a Knicks game. Walk up and down the aisle. Do bits with people and make money. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. And then growing up in Chicago, if you go to Wrigley, the beer guys were the funniest guys there. So they're talking shit to people while you're buying and it becomes really fun. Got the job. I was really excited to start. They said, lastly, we just need to test. And I think I'd smoked that morning and I was like, test for what? And they're like, weed. And I'm like, I promise you I'm not going to get an A. I bet this is going to be bad news. And they said like, are you willing to piss in a cup? And then I got a call like 4 days later and they're like, obviously you're not hired. And I'm like, you fuck, I wanted that so bad.
That's a hierarchy.
Yes.
You start off with the toys. Then you get gummy snacks.
Yeah, exactly right.
What the fuck? Yeah. I had no idea.
Rookie of the year or Sandlot?
Ooh, you bastard.
You know, honestly.
No, you're like 18 when that came out.
We're talking Chicago baseball.
Yeah. So Rookie of the Year, the kid from it. So I was too old when that came out. So I don't know if I've ever fully seen it, but I know of it because the
Kid
main
American
guy.
Pie.
Yes. Still does a lot with like the Cubs and the Cubs like still celebrate. It's like big games. They'll be like from Rookie of the Year. Really? Yes. Throwing out the first pitch. And then he's like, our group didn't see it. And Sandlot, I've seen, but that idea of like 1950s the way it used to be when boys were boys, even as a kid, it never really did much for me. So
one black kid in the movie.
Yeah, that's right. But that type of movie of like when we played stickball, we were real boys. Even as a kid, I was like, this shit's weird. That's not how it feels with me and my friends. And so I would probably have to go Rookie of the Year just because the kid's so connected to Wrigley. And I've thrown out that first pitch at Wrigley. I've been able to do that. Yeah.
Was it a good pitch?
Well, you want to hear a crazy story?
Yes.
So, let's get a little bit trippy and weird.
All right, I'm down. Let's go.
So my old man was a drug addict, didn't raise me, blah, blah, blah. But when I was an adult, we became friends. And what was nice about it is we actually got to really connect on a real level because I was an asshole to him when he first sobered up. So we knew, right? Like, so we knew each other. You kind
of had to give him a little like, fuck you back.
Yeah, exactly right.
My dad too. We became friends at 25. So,
because same with us. It was literally 25 or 26 when I finally said like, I'm not a bitchy 17-year-old anymore, but I was. Yeah. But we then got to a place where I went like, cocaine's a hell of a drug. Right? If you're going to get like, you got caught up.
Get you, Dad.
Yeah, you got caught up, man.
You wouldn't want to be around me either. Shit.
Yeah, exactly. I was an ammonoid. That's why we do podcasts. We talk too much.
Oh my God.
So my dad and I were sitting there talking, and we were talking about the idea of the afterlife. What are your thoughts on it? Really, really quickly, just to Sandra. What do you think?
I think the afterlife, because I've done a lot of drugs and experienced weird things. I think it's when you get shot in Call of Duty and you come back to the lobby and go, damn. All right, we'll start over. I'm going to jump into this section.
Do you think it's reincarnation?
I think so.
Interesting.
I think I remember too many things. And
so those moments where you're like, I know this.
And I've had too many things connect to where it's like, because I used to have this recurring war dream. It's very odd.
Yeah.
But then I met my wife's grandpa, and he has dementia, heavy. And not when I'm there, though. So when I walk in, he's like, you look just like somebody I know.
Is that true?
All the time. And then the third time, he explained a war story, but he doesn't talk about the war because he was in World War II. He was a German kid in America fighting Germans. Wow. So he's over there looking like a German in our gear. Yeah. And he told me the story, and his story is like my dream I've had since I was a kid. Oh, and the kid dies in the end. And in my dream, I get murked. In the dream, when I was 4 or 5, freaking out, crying, 15, 20. And then I met him, and as he's talking, I'm like, why does it all sound so fucking familiar?
I love
and then it connected, and then he's like, you look just like him. That's why you look familiar. And he said his name. It was a very weird.
Yeah. So I got something to connect to that. It's not the dad thing, but let's tangent. My mother's really connected to something. Who knows what it is? So I don't have a firm enough belief to go reincarnation or something, but I know something like that. I know there's weirdness. Mm-hmm. I was sitting next to my mom. I was in 4th grade. We were watching my brother or my sister in some like school sing, whatever it was. Out of nowhere, my mother turns to me and goes, you're not going to school tomorrow. And I go, And when my mom growing up, she said something, just how it went down. So I was like, huh. And then I went, fuck, but we're going on a field trip tomorrow. We're going to Little Vietnam in the city. We were in the burbs. And it's just all eating candy and fucking around. I really wanted to do it. So I go, but we're going on a field trip. We're going to Little Vietnam. I really want to go. And she goes, when do you leave? I go, first thing in the morning. She goes, when do you come back? I go, 3 o'clock. She goes, you're not in the school at all. I go, no, we get dropped off. We get on the bus. We come back at the end of the day. She thinks for a long time. She goes, you can go to school. The next day, there's a true story. May 20th, 1988. A woman walks into my elementary school through the door that my class was in. I used to get in a lot of trouble as a kid. And I used to always talk. So the teacher pushed me in the far right corner. So I sat away from the other kids and I was right by the door. A woman walked into the school wearing a robe and nothing underneath. I know me, especially in 4th grade, I would have commented. I would have said something. I would have tried to show off. I would have tried to get laughs. There's no question. The room was empty. She walked through, walked down the hall, walked into another room, shot 7 kids, killed one of them. True story. To this day, my mom cannot explain why she didn't want me to go to school. Well, I don't tell this story a lot because I don't get it. So that's not third hand, fourth hand. It was me and my mom. Mm-hmm. I still remember, and when she said, you're not going to school, I fought back. When I've talked to her to this day, and I brought it up to her a lot, she goes, I don't know, Jake. I had a feeling in my gut. Your kid goes to school, you're never going to see him again.
Well, so mom's awesome. Yeah, but she's right.
But what is that? So that dream you had?
It's what my grandma has this.
Really?
I have this shit. We've talked about it on this before, about the Hell's Angel shootout murder thing.
Walk me through that story, please.
I used to have this dream. I had it twice. I have a very photographic memory. I was telling you about. I do stories in this.
Yeah.
I have a photographic memory.
Yeah.
And I used to sell drugs, 100 packs and this. I used to sell drugs in my town. That's what I used to do before I started content. So I have had these weird dreams my whole life. I had this dream and I remember it because of the wood, of the brown, and this beard. I'm like, I remember too much. I remember this dream where I walk, I'm sitting outside, but it's like a restaurant. I look over, I see this yellowish, like 19th, the mink, you know what I mean? Like the way you're dressed.
Oh, the minks.
In the minks, the way you're dressed in that is the feel of the yellow light and the wood.
Yes.
Like Ron Burgundy's apartment.
Understood. So in your dream, you're feeling that, you're seeing it. I can see it, I can
feel it. There's people, I can hear chatter, drinks, people talking stuff. But I just fixate on this like 6'6" white dude, tall guy, beard. slick hair. He has 2 girls with him. A bouncer's talking to him, and I'm locking eyes with him for some reason. I see the color of the light, and it's bouncing off the wood. I'm looking at it, and it's not like that. Like I started getting that. I wasn't pushing in, but I could see closer. I'm looking at him. I could see like the jacket. He's got corduroy on, and like he looks just like the man in the 70s. He just looks like that dude. But nobody else looked like that because I wasn't paying attention. I just remember him. I remember the way he looked. And then he walks in. A couple seconds later, I just hear people screaming, people falling down like dead, and I'm taking off over a table. And it's like an old vibe. And I just remember hearing people scream, and I'm running going, I should have left. I should have left. I had that at like 14, then I had like 21. Fast forward, I'm 27 at the Rainbow Room. You know the Rainbow Bar.
Of course.
Outside patio, that yellow light, that wood right there, that doorway, you walk into the restaurant, but you're the outside patio, I smoke weed.
Exactly what you're talking
So
about.
my back's to Sunset. So I'm toward that little glass wall. And my back's to the street, and I'm looking straight. And I'm sitting there. I'm with I have a big following with this weed thing. I'm talking all these, and I had a table. The reason I'm saying is I had a table of people that were fans. Like they were just like, yo, what's up, man? Yeah, you want to smoke? I'm like, yeah, man, we're just here smoking. It kind of turned into like a bunch of people hanging out. My friend from New York, Benny from Buffalo, he brought like 5 dudes I had never met. And they're like, yo, this is your homie Thomas you're talking about? We follow this fool. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. So they see my stories, and they're like, yo, he's a normal guy. The next thing is not going to make me feel normal or seem I look like a weirdo. Yeah. So I'm sitting there, and this dude walks in. I don't know why. I'm like, just see him. And I look, and I catch the yellow light off the wood, and I go, why? Where have I seen this? I have a photographic memory. I'll tell you, like, I know what movie that's from. I know what screenshot that's from. I can tell you what word that's from. And I'm looking at it, and as I'm watching him, I just remember hearing like clink and people yelling. I went, oh, this is the scary dream. I was like, something's wrong. We got to get the fuck out of here. I've been there for 20 minutes. We just ordered food and stuff. And I'm like, I'm leaving right now. And I look at Rosie, and I'm like, hey, she knows my dream. I'm like, hey, I've had this dream. We're getting the fuck out of here right now. She goes, right now? She said, I have to pee. And she didn't question me at all. She knew like, okay, we're leaving. Oh, sorry. And I look at the table and I tell everybody, hey, something bad's going to happen. I don't like this. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. You guys should leave too. And they're like, ha, ha, ha. And I'm like, nah, for real. I'm getting the fuck out of here, getting my check. And I'm asking the waitress for my check. Like, you're leaving? We just got here. I'm like, nah, something's wrong. I'm out of here, dude. They go, all right. And I can see these fools' faces like, this guy's a weird ass. It's like Devin Sawa in Final Destination. Get me off this fucking flight. That's how I felt like, nah, I got to get out of here. And then she's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Come right back. I'm like, come right back. We're leaving right now. And then as I say that, she gets up. As she gets up, these 2 Hells Angels walk in, go straight to the bouncer or the door. Behind them are a little Mexican and a little white Hells Angel, but they were like Mongols, I guess, because they were not just white. And then their jacket said it. They weren't Hells Angels. I thought they were because they were big white. They were the Mongols gang. The 2 dudes sat. I know my stepdad. I know the murderers. There's the ones that sit at the fucking door, not the big ass dudes, the little guys that sat and said nothing. Little ponytail. They sat, turned the chairs around. They sat right where you get checked in at the Rainbow, right where you walk in. And I looked at Benny and went, I'm leaving. He goes, bro, they come here all the time. I go, something is wrong. Something's wrong. And then the 2 dudes are right there at the front talking to the bouncer. And the bouncer's like this with his clipboard. She's just doing this. And then I see my wife come out, and she comes, and I'm waiting for the check. I'm like, Shannon, please hurry up with this fucking check. And I'm like, I'm just going to leave the money. And then Rosie's like, we got to get out of here right now. And I look at her, and she goes, we got to leave right now. I'm like, oh shit. We get out, and I'm like, all right, guys, see you later. And they're like, nice to meet you, man. We were mid-smoking joints. And I'm like, oh, something's wrong. I'm leaving. I look like a creep. Yeah. So I get to my car, we drive, and as soon as we wait for the car right there, she goes, those 2 guys said, we saw his ass. Where the fuck is he? Those 2 guys just said that. It's like, we saw his ass. Where the fuck is he? She said, on her walk out, the dude that I fucking looked at was under a table, hiding under a table. Right? We leave. She's telling me that. I'm like, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Benny calls me 15 minutes later. Huge brawl. All these fucking Mongols came in, try to kill that guy.
No.
He's the dropout of the Hells Angels that has been, he's a high up of, I'm only talking about what we heard, guys. I'm not into politics. I'm not into gang stuff. what was told me by the waitress, like, he guess he's some dropout. They saw him walk in because they were next door at the fucking Roxy. Goes, is this motherfucker right here? Chased him in and tried to kill him in the restaurant. So Rosie's like, he was under a table. Holy I walk out and these two dudes are like, where the fuck is he? So as she leaves, she tells me that. I'm like, oh, Benny calls me. Huge brawl. There's fucking tables flying everywhere and they were trying to kill this dude. And I was like, nobody got shot? He goes, no, but people are just screaming. Everybody's fucking running out. I'm like, exactly what I saw in my fucking dream. 14, 24. I was like, here we are, 27. I was right. I fucking called it. That's all I needed to hear. Like at the end of your movie, I was, fuck you. That's how I felt to Benny. I'm like, fuck you, fuck you.
Yeah.
See this? Wayne Brady. That's how I feel. That's how I felt. Like, fuck you guys.
Wow.
That's an awesome
callback.
Yeah. By the way, great callback for sure.
That's how I felt, man.
Self-reliance. January 12th. That's a wild ass story, man.
Yeah, the dream stories, man.
What's
the
it
dreams
all for?
keep
That's
coming.
what I think. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Well, in
with
Vegas this weekend, I didn't feel like flying. Something felt weird. And I went, I'm going to go get a car and drive back. And for some reason, like, you can't. All my cards were blocked. Everything. For some reason, I wasn't supposed to drive. I'm like, I wonder why I wasn't supposed to drive. So there's always something because I'm like, all right, someone's helping me. This video game of life is helping me. This producers fools are fucking helping me. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Truman Show. I feel like the world is a Truman Show all the time.
I do too.
At all times. Yeah. And I'm not trying to leave that door.
Yeah.
Then I got to live with fucking Neo in the spaceship. Like, I'd rather be like chill in a restaurant, man. I'm sorry. I get it.
I'm with you.
I'm not trying to get eaten by
You have some Neo characteristics. Like, you have that, like, I'm ready to give up my, like,
everything.
I think everybody, there's so many people that can relate to that. It's like, I'm so bored of my life. If somebody were to proposition me with something preposterous, I'd probably go for it.
Well, it was really, especially during the pandemic, it was anything just to grab hold of excitement again. But I got to go back. I know we can get into the movie. That's too crazy of a story to transition. My brain's not there. So
when I watch that, I'm like, oh shit.
But that shit, what really trips me out about that and what I really don't know, and the reason I go back to it is because this has been something kicking around since I was a kid. So I'm named after my Uncle Mark. So my Uncle Mark died in a motorcycle accident. It was, you know, they were all hanging out. He was 26 years old. 9 brothers and sisters, they all loved him. They were drinking. His friend said, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. They went. Mark died. So it was like so fast and sudden. So my dad, who before he passed didn't believe in any of this stuff, swore that Mark haunted him. And he said, like, you know, my mother, who does believe in it, my mom's the kind of person who will be straight talking to somebody in a room and she believes that she can connect it and she can see it.
My mom was like that too.
She is. And you start getting to a thing where, you know, at least for me, when I was younger, I was fully believing it's your mom. And then when I was in my 20s, I would have things like, it happened once when my now wife, she was out of town and I was alone we were living in Atwater and I was alone in bed. And we knew that we had heard that the guy who used to live there died in the place. You know, it happens. God bless. Chill out. Go to bed. Relax. I'm laying in bed. I start.
You don't look like you're relaxed.
I wasn't. Scared as hell. Manic. Self-reliance. I was telling me. Very scared. And, you know, I'd probably smoke too much pot alone. And I started not only imagining this old Filipino guy walking around the room, but I saw, and, you know, I've had family members who've, you know, died in front of me from diseases. It's a bad way to go out. Doesn't look good. So when old guys die like that, they don't die like, it's not like, good night, everybody, I love you. You go to sleep. You're drowning, but the air is the water. You're looking for a breath, right? So that was the image. It wasn't like a sweet old guy who gives you a mint.
Yeah.
And I was getting myself so unthinkably scared. I'm fucking sweating in bed. I'm laying there, and I could see his face right here.
Sorry,
but then I had a moment, and this is the moment where now to this day I've still been at, where it makes the world less magical, makes the world less mystical, but I went, grow up, man. I go,
the ghost
to me.
Oh, they said to the ghost, grow up, man.
Like, grow up, you geezer, get out of here. No, I said to myself, I was like, this shit's embarrassing. I might have been 30 years old, and I'm like, I'm afraid of an old man ghost in my own house. I was excited about this night. I was going to like barbecue chicken, have 3 IPAs and smoke a joint. I'm scared as fuck alone. I was like, this shit is shameful. I was like, look at yourself in the mirror. I go, if there's an old man ghost, what's up, man? Yeah. Back off. I'm now going to bed. Leave me alone. This shit is done. Since that moment, you know, I had a buddy named Joe back in the day who said, you go, be careful looking for ghosts because then they're going to come looking for you. So that old saying, from that moment, I've had no like
nothing
magic realism. But all throughout my childhood, one thing led to another. That thing with my mom, how do you deny that?
You don't.
Right? How you're like, your dream that leads to right there. You're like, because I've also had a bunch of dreams from my childhood. Like, you know, either I saw Deer Hunter too young.
Fuck.
Which I did. Or as a kid, my mom reminded me, my bed growing up, you could move the cabinets underneath and there was like a little space. I would prepare myself for when I went to Vietnam and I was a POW. And it was only Vietnam. And as like a 7-year-old, she'd be like, what are you doing? Get out from under the bed. And I go, I have to train myself because when I'm older, if I go to war and I'm a prisoner of war, it's going to be like this in Vietnam.
Method act.
Yeah, but you know, but that thing, and then you know, as I got older, it faded. That could be I saw Deer Hunter, or in a past life, I was in a fucking cage in Vietnam, and then as this little boy who started over in 1978, which was when I was born, so prisoners could have been there until right at May of '78. He started over and was like, "It's still in me. I'm still freaked." So I don't know the answers. So like, you know, and people will pretend to know. They'll say it is this or it's that. And I'm like, and it goes back to self-reliance for me, going back to the idea of that movie. Wrapping everything up is nice. The reality of all these tones at the same time are what's really fun. So when I go to 17, what kind of movie do I want to make? Well, I don't want to make a romantic comedy, but I want romance. I don't want to just make Caddyshack, but I like Caddyshack. Yeah. I don't want to just make fucking Deer Hunter, but I like fucking Deer Hunter. I loved Jacob's Ladder. You've never seen the...
No. You just named a movie for one of the rare moments I haven't seen
the original Jacob's Ladder. Let's exchange info. After you watch it, reach out. You're going to fucking love it.
What year did this come out?
This was, I want to say late 80s, but it's about a guy in Vietnam who comes back. And my pitch of this movie when I started raising money was a comedic Jacob's Ladder. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. So check that movie
out.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
looks like a
is
comedy.
That exactly. Looks like your big comedies from the 80s.
A young
you had Police Academy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Jacob's Ladder.
Jesus.
Tim Robbins, thank you. Yeah. It looks like a very young version of him. Yeah. Jacob's Ladder, a comedic Jacob's Ladder. Basically, I'm going to scare the shit out of you kind of.
It's a great movie.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's great. First. You're going to fucking...
Yeah, I have never heard of this movie. That's the first.
You're going to love it.
That shot with the eyes look a little Clockwork Orangey.
So it gets really scary. And it gets into this stuff you're talking about, this idea of like, what is real? What is happening? But the main character in there, he has to believe what he sees, and he's in a riddle that doesn't make sense. I know. All right, maybe we'll love it.
Like I could feel like the...
And that's
almost like the coming off mushrooms. You don't know if you're tripping still, but you're like, am I fucking tripping?
Yes.
My shit just floated off.
Yes. And it gets like that, and it gets heavier and heavier and heavier, and he gets clues and clues. You'll see when you see that structurally, there's a lot I copied. So that was a movie. Not only did I read the script, but I would rewatch. Like there's a scene, you know, when Gaeta appears in my movie.
Yeah. I did not expect that at all. Yeah.
So you'll see a movie in here when they're in a billiards hall. The artwork for that scene was that scene.
Nice.
So when Adam Silver, his lookbook, when he had the photo from Jacob's Ladder, I went like, you're the movie, man. I was like, you get what I'm trying to do. And he's like, it's very clear. Other people would say like, yeah, you know, that should be moody for sure. And I'm like, it's not, anything's moody. Man. Yeah.
Your brain works the way I fucking brain works. Like what? Compared to some shit so I can fucking understand you a little.
Let me get my hands in it. And then once, because I go, he had a few things, the Eternal Sunshine. He had a few moments where I was like, now this movie is all those together. But when you talk about Sandberg's first moment with that smile, I'm okay if you laugh throughout it all. Yeah. I'm okay that even in the moments when the movie's saying, this is scary, I'm okay if somebody hears the story about my mom do this, and they laugh and they go, that's some bullshit. That mama's boy believes anything. Because I think you're allowed to experience it any way you want, but that kind of idea, that tone, and when Adam fucking nails it, I went like, that's it. But when you watch it, you'll see there's a scene in here that the first time I saw it as a kid, I'm like, perfect.
Okay, I'm alone all day today. I'm gonna watch that shit today.
It's perfect. It's a great movie.
A young Tim Robbins. Ooh.
You've seen Bull Durham, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I was a kid. My grandpa's watching it. My grandpa's watching. What's the Charlie Sheen?
Oh yeah, Major League.
Major
League's a lot.
Damn, that was funny.
Yeah.
I was just a kid watching all these wild ass movies.
Yeah. Bull Durham for me in that era, like when you talk baseball movies, that's the baseball movie for me. Minor leagues, the weird mojo. What I love about baseball is like someone can get the yips. You know, what I like about stuff is when people believe all the bullshit, like you got to wear a certain pants to do a certain thing. You haven't quite made it. This is as good as it's going to be, but you're in the fucking minors. This could be your last chance. A young kid that whole world I love. I find it it's so fun. Yeah.
Well, man, this has been, I didn't even get to the nose. We've just been talking about some crazy shit. But whatever this is, it's, you know, like, you're the ghost. Like, this is pathetic. I told Mario, I've had my friends come in and do the little thing. I was like, yeah, something's here. I feel it.
You think something's in here?
No, not in here. Like places I've talked to you about. Like, man, totally. I wanted to ignore it, but I saw it move, and I gotta have somebody come because now I feel weird.
Yeah.
At the new house, when I told you like something's here, I told you I had to sage my house like 3 weeks ago. But as I was doing it, I had that growing up. I told Rosie out loud, like, this fool doesn't pay any fucking rent. Yeah. He pays nothing here. Get the fuck out of my house.
I'm done. I'm done engaging.
Yeah, I'm done.
If you're here, you're here.
You're here.
I'm done engaging.
Also, I'll walk through you.
Yeah. But
I don't give a shit.
You do have a moment where you go, it's silly how scared I am.
But also, I'm like, that shit's real. Damn, this sucks.
You want to hear another quick crazy one?
Of course I want to.
My mother grew up in the same house that like her mom stayed in forever. And as a kid, you know, you have like certain things in your house that spook you.
Yes.
Just like you don't know why.
100%.
So for her and all of our holidays growing up, we were at that house too. So the third stair from the bottom spooked her. She said as a little girl, she would go down and always jump over that stair. And in her head, you know, you do the weird math stuff. She would always skip 3 on that stair. 4.
I'm like your mom. I thought I was insane as a kid. Like, why?
Yeah.
I get you.
It's just
some things.
That's your thing. So my Uncle Timmy passed away in that house. He had a drinking issue and he woke up and, you know, his liver, what have you, and he died. And when my mom was talking to the fireman, she said, what happened? Did he die in bed? And he goes, no, he got up. He was trying to get something in the kitchen and he passed away. And she goes, where did he die? And he goes, on the going up to the stairs. And she goes, it's my brother. Can you explain what happened? And one of the firemen demonstrated, and he had fallen, and his head and shoulders were on the 3rd stair. So could that be just another where you're like, oh, but as a kid, why was she afraid of that one? But then later, her younger brother had his last moments of life on that one. And that kind of, whatever that space is, I find really fascinating.
Yeah, the random fixation of something that sticks with you. It's so random.
And you could blow off your instinct.
Yeah. Never.
But I never blow them off. So a big part of this movie of why I wanted to make it was just the idea of trusting your instinct no matter what, especially having kids, especially in 2020. It was like, there's just so much going on. I was like, I want this to be entertaining. I want it to be fun. I want to make a movie called Self-Reliance. Rely on yourself. Trust your fucking instinct. Even if everyone tells you you're wrong, if your heart tells you to leave that bar, and all your friends go, you're an idiot. I'm going to be an idiot at home.
That's what I said. The probability of sharks, I'll be dummy on land.
Yeah. But I don't trust this, so therefore I'm not doing it. Tease me all you want. And comedically, I think the teasing, because I don't view it as sensitive. When Tommy's at the intervention, they're making fun of him. That's not sad to me. Because if I'm the family, you go like, roast this fucking guy. Because my family growing up, we roasted each other. My friends, you roast each other. So that's the kind of, you can really believe, and then you could also kill them for it.
Now, have you had to explain to your kids your thoughts on the afterlife and death and things like that yet?
A little bit, you know. So when my dad died, it was the first big loss for me. Like I've had like other people in my life died, but my dad became one of my best buds. And what was tricky about that is he's, you know, you got at least for me, I'm not a believer in having 500 friends. I like 3 to 5 I text with.
Yeah, that's what you need.
Yeah. Just like, you know, and that's kind of it. It's too much, man. It's like navigating other people's stuff. Like,
go to your parties, bro. Every year.
And I'm not going to your birthday, man. You're 31 years old. Pass. I pass. And no, on a Wednesday night, I don't need to get dinner with just another man and just have the sports in the background. Let's both be at home, our own homes. I'll see you from like 9 until 6 p.m.
So we're not assholes, Marty.
Thank you for confirming.
Pass.
We're not.
We talk about this off camera all the time. Are we pieces of shit?
Pass.
I feel like past 22 or 23.
I agree.
You got
Well, college, when you're in that age, 18 to 22 age, you don't know yet. You got to go out because you're finding yourself. Your 20s, and you guys have just gotten successful young. You said you were 27?
No, when I was 27.
I was like, fuck, dude.
I'm 34.
Okay, good. It's 34 is still really young. But the 20s for me are when you got to go out to those things because you're looking for a partner. You're looking for your business. Once you find your business and your group, they say that about sports players. Nothing good happens past midnight. The fuck am I doing on a Wednesday night out at dinner? Like, I like everybody, but I should be home.
Yeah.
We can all work together. Do this. Yeah. You guys want to all hang out? Put microphones in front of us. Right. This is so, you guys are socializing.
I always feel like such an asshole.
Right.
Yeah. I know I've fully leaned in, but I'm an asshole.
Oh man, I don't feel bad at all. You're like, you got to do stuff. You got to do movies. Like, we're just doing this. Even like Spotify invited us to the thing. We're like, woo, let's do this. Let's talk to people.
Never.
And I was like, all right, let's try.
We got into this dinner and I burst out laughing.
I turned around and saw him. He just started cracking.
What was the thing?
I just realized how different we are than everybody. Like, these are regular humans.
Oh, wait, like everybody was super nice. I'm like, you guys all look H&M models.
Oh, really?
I'm fucking wrecked. This is everybody was cool. It was great. It was just,
of course, nice people.
Have to do stuff. I'd rather be home.
Yeah,
I can work on some shit.
I feel the same. Well, so I had a kind of a ridiculous thing, but I realized that like the hobby for me is creation. Yeah. So whatever the creation is, I used to think the hobby was acting. And so you wrote to act and you were on set because that was the only game. Now what I'm realizing, the hobby is creation. Whatever that creation is, if you're passionate about it, that's the hobby. And so anything that's not towards the hobby or my family, I don't get it. So like you said you had kids. So when you have kids, you're like, that's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
So the other hours, I don't see the desire to do an event like that. Even in terms of being an actor, the idea of like going out to like industry type
networking
stuff. I'm like, I don't get it anymore because that has nothing to do with the creation. That has to do with this idea of building or promoting yourself to maybe get a nomination for this or to get featured in that so that somebody down the road might see you and handpick you for blank. That's a lot of gamble in terms of your time for a very small win. You're right. That could all work. I could also learn to fly.
Yeah.
What I might do in the meantime is sit in my garage and do some weird shit and just create and see if one of these works. Because in that same 2-year period, I'm going to have 9 projects. Let's be honest, 3 are going to be weird.
Yeah.
But 6 might be good and 1 might be great. And so you go like, fucking pass on those dinners, man. I'm out.
I love it. I love it. I love they invited us. Like, we just realized like, we're trying. And we did try. We talked to 4.
Yeah. It went well.
Yeah.
It went well.
You guys, what I like about what you guys are doing is you guys are winning in your own corner. Just keep fucking winning in your own corner.
Appreciate it.
I would never try. I would not do the partners up. I would not try to change your game.
No.
Don't reach for other stuff.
This is just me and him the whole time.
You just keep winning. And if it's, the times where your ego gets in and you're like, oh, I want to be an empire more. You're just fucking, you're winning, man. No. Never, we used to call it in Hollywood, if you had like a great gig, like if you booked like a TV show or a network commercial, we would call it the golden faucet. And that means all of a sudden you turned on your faucet at home and fucking gold was coming out in Hollywood. That's why we all moved to Hollywood. Where you were like, you could do this shit in Chicago, but like, you might have a golden faucet. You might be on Head of the Class on ABC for 7 years, just brrr. And so what you guys have now and what I'm seeing more in the game is there's these golden faucets, but nobody even knows how much gold is coming out.
That's true.
So you're like, just keep the faucet on and live right, man.
Yeah, it's true. Like I've worked with so many people in the space, like Theo. Like Theo had his podcast for like 7, 8, maybe probably 8 years before people found out about it.
Agreed.
And he was consistent. And he was just him doing his solo episodes. Like,
so I've got in terms of exactly what we're saying that connects to Theo. So I didn't know Theo's work at all. I was doing an animated show called Hoops. This fucking dude auditioned. This is the funniest thing I've ever like. He made me laugh in a way where I was like, I then became a fan. He was improvising. It was called Hoops. It was I was a basketball coach, and he was supposed to be like a 7-foot kid who's like not too sharp, and me and him together were just improvising.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my god, like he's gonna kill this. Like it's so good.
Yeah,
and the showrunner was like incredible, and everyone was like, yeah, let's get him the job. And he got offered the job, and he came back really nicely, and he said like the money is so low. And the workload is so high because I have to do the table reads. Then I know they're going to want to do press and all this. He goes, I make more just going to my living room and talking. And he's like, so I'd like to do it, but it was this other. And I remember talking to Ben, our showrunner, and being like, what the fuck? And I didn't realize yet that like he's just in another world.
It's a whole different world.
Why would he? He was like, well, it would be fun, but you have to make it worth my time. That was not the game myself and a lot of us were playing. You go, yeah, we're all getting ripped off, but we get to make this thing. Well, if you can make this thing and not get ripped off, then and why go to a dinner? Eat your own fucking dinner.
We try, man.
Good for you. Good for you.
I'm just happy to hear it, Marty. I feel a lot better going out into 2024. Like,
pass.
Don't even worry about it, man. No, not even just pass. Just I don't feel so bad because I always feel like. I'm going to be in the back of this room until you go, has it been long enough I can get out of here? I took a picture.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. Like, I swear to God I was there. And during the movie, the whole time I kept thinking, just take a fucking picture of these things.
Yeah.
During your movie, I'm like, take your phone out and take a picture so someone believes you, man. This whole movie, I'm like, please. Also, it's like so dangerous. Like, you're not going to. I would never. The whole time, like, I would never do
Bust
that.
out a selfie with the
dude. What's really funny about that
I'd be so scared.
Is, and it's because I'm also different. I didn't get a cell phone until I was about 25, 26. I never thought about the phone until right now.
Really?
Never. It wasn't a creative choice not to do it. I never would think to take out my phone and take us, even now.
No, because like, the audience.
But even me as Jake, if I'm going down the street and something extraordinary happens, if a fucking circus turns the corner and there's elephants and I'm going like, and there's people throwing fire, the last thing my thought process is going to be like, I got to take a photo of this. I'm going to go, it's going to walk by me, turn the corner. I'm going to go, I think I'm going to tell my wife about that, but there's a chance no one's going to believe me. But I would never think to take a photo of it.
Only if it's like some shit that like, I swear to God, I'm not lying.
Yes.
Like the Jesse James, the bike guy dogged me in my own yard once.
What does that mean?
The guy that I was like, I should take a picture, but I'm also a drug dealer and I have a flip phone. Like, I'm not going to take a picture. But I was in my front yard like, in the ghetto of Merced, and this fool drove by, stared me down like he wanted to fight me, and I went, there's no fucking way. There's no way. There's no way. No one's gonna believe me. And then everybody started posting pictures. He was at McDonald's. I go, see if they didn't, I'd be thinking.
That's amazing. I made that up.
That my stepdad's got some beef, and this fool's chasing me. Before we get out of here, I saw that you had a Packers shirt on in one of your episodes. Yeah. You're a Packers fan. No. So you were from Chicago wearing a Packers shirt. Yeah. What happened?
My co-host is a diehard Packers fan.
Oh,
we've been talking shit for 20 years, and every year we talk shit. And at the beginning of this year, I was very confident in what we were doing in Chicago. I liked Justin Fields. I thought we were built right. I thought Jordan Love was in trouble, and I thought the Packers were. And we make a lot of bets, and one of them was that opening week, the loser had to not only wear the other guy's team's shirt, but talk honestly about how good the organization is. We used to do a bet together, which was my favorite. And that was, we had an annual bet that I pulled out of because it honestly was hurting my feelings. Whichever team went further, we went out to Taylor's Steakhouse in Koreatown, and I would have to dress as a Packer fan. And the whole night, there's no bit. We are diehard Packer fans, and we're going to talk sports, and we're going to talk honestly about what a great organization and how dog shit Chicago is. So we would sit there and he would go like, it's just, they can't figure out the quarterback situation out. And then I'd want to make a little like catty comment back, but that's not what a Packer fan would do. I'd be like, we got him dominated.
Marty's that guy, but for the Bills.
The whole night. Demoralizing.
Bills.
I'm trying to picture this.
Whoever the biggest rival is.
Yeah.
Imagine if one of your best friends. Yeah, so the Chiefs. Yeah. So then, and here's what's really sad about it. And I know because I did 3 nights in a steakhouse. You could think of a lot of great things to say about the Chiefs and a lot of bad things to say about the Bills. It's just, you don't want to say it.
Their stadium's new.
Yeah, and then when they go, when your friend goes, I mean, it's just very clear. Mahomes is way better than Josh Allen because Josh Allen
he's murdered him.
But then if you pretend you've lost, you want to defend, but in that moment you have to go like, he's a generational talent.
He's got so many commercials.
Oh man, double discount, bro.
Yeah.
So I had to ask. I was like, I grew up over here as a Packers fan.
Oh, you did.
It was hard. That's what I was like. He grew up in Chicago as a Packers fan.
Yeah. No, that's my partner.
Okay, so that's why I had to ask. But I'm not sure. I have to ask.
Yeah.
Because I grew up over here is not speaking Spanish and a Packers fan named Thomas. It was hard, dude.
With a bunch of Raiders fans and shit. Yeah.
That's weird.
Nothing but Raiders and Niners.
Why didn't you pick Raiders?
Oh, what happened is I was walking in. I was as a little kid walking from my grandma's, and I saw Bill Schroeder, the Packers wide receiver, the white guy, number 87.
Yeah.
And it was the go into commercial, John Madden. Let's go into this next play, and we'll be back. And it was him parallel to the ground catching this ball by Brett Favre. I went, oh my God, who is that? And my grandpa's a Niner diehard. He has a Niner room in the house. It's painted gold and red. And I went, I like them. And my grandpa fucking just shot me. He didn't really, but his heart went.
Mentally.
My mom's a Bears fan. So my whole life, like I've just been gotten shit talked to me while being the best through the 90s. And then just went, damn. And then picked back up for a while. Yeah, so I just had to ask. As a football, I know this fool's a diehard.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, they still got my hopes in it for now. You know, we'll see what happens.
So I just wanted to talk about it. So before we get out of here, where can everybody find you online to promote everything? It's just Mr. Jake Johnson on Instagram, right?
That'll be the only one. And then, check out We're Here to Help on anywhere you get that. And then Self-Reliance on Hulu.
January 12th.
We'll be calling in for advice.
Please do the show, guys. If you want to ever leave your house, we'd love to have you.
And
please smoke as many joints.
We leave constantly.
But guess what? I'll ask you to come between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Nice.
Actually, get me wherever it's at. Let's go from 3 to 6 so we're fucked in traffic. Like everybody else asks us, like, can you be in Ventura at 4? Like, bro.
No, we do ours in Silver Lake.
Oh, nice.
Keep it close.
Not far.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, perfect. Yeah, we'll exchange info, but dude, this was fun.
This was really fun.
Appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. So January 12th, you guys know I will talk shit if a movie sucks. This movie didn't suck, and have me on the edge of my damn chair. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go watch it.
Go check it
Hulu, January 12th. All right. Thank you guys. We're here to help. Go ahead and wherever everything is streamed. That joint got me a little bit. A little bit. It was the stories that got me, I think. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the Dope as Usual podcast from Marty O'Neill, Jake Johnson, and I. Have a dope ass day.
Nice, clean outro.
Yeah, I know it's the no headphones. I can hear myself.
That was fun, guys. That was wild.
That was awesome.
Fun talking. Appreciate it. Yeah, what a blast. Yeah.